Hello to all my friends and colleagues in movie and visual effect industry. This is Amin. I'm here with reviewing series of Cinefex magazine, which some of you may know of. I tell you from the first glance, you'll see this is a special format. You can see this is a 23 by 20 centimeter format, which is a aspect ratio of the first film, negative film in the history. Don Scheik created and published this in 1980. From 1980 to 2016, this is published quarterly. But after that, from 2016 to 2021, it was bi-monthly, which shows how industry was blooming and booming in that period in terms of the amount of movies and health of industry, which all of my colleagues and us, when we work in that period, we all witnessed how much busy we were and how much good was this industry, and unfortunately it was collapsed somehow. That's quality of visual effect in the industry. This is very extraordinary magazine also in terms of the quality of content and amount of information in technicals, artistic people and teamwork that created these amazing movies that are, most of them are masterpiece. I hope you like it. We're going to start from 2015 to 2021. Hopefully regularly review this magazine. I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. First session of reviewing Cinefex magazine number 142. And the first session going to be Mad Max, the first chapter. Oh, here we go. The Scanline VFX ad in the first page, which used to be one of the biggest visual effect company back then, famous for simulating water and liquid. And here's a nice ad from Pixamondo. And here's interesting thing. This is the original Mr. X logo before it changed to the famous logo of this creative company, which I also had the privilege to work on about 1 year and some in Mr. X. Here's a image engine ad. They put the name as appreciation, the name of the VFX crew who worked on Jurassic World along with ILM. Well, here image work and Pixar and the first page, number 142, is going to be these movies reviewed. The first is Mad Max, which is going to be reviewed today. And information for this magazine here. There you go. We are here with the first page of Mad Max Fury Road, the dystopian diesel punk style masterpiece of all time by George Miller. Here in this issue, we will read shortly about these two movies in 1979, the first one, and the second one 1982, by George Miller, and his idea about how he wanted to create this movie in bigger scale and like to be huge and iconic. So we will shortly read here that Byron Kennedy was a producer who died short after this movie, unfortunately, and John Steele, director of photography. So on this huge shots with lots of crowd and lots of dust, for example, they use 8 tons of dust, movie dust on the scene, on the location sometimes. And on some of the shots, they used, basically they invented the sim travel rig camera, which on the platform they have to be able to, you know, follow the moving vehicles. And they have to create these rigs and systems, which in the detail all explained in this magazine. They had lots of difficulties. Like, despite careful planning, they had to shoot in New South Wales. Unpredictable rainfall made them to go to Namibia desert, all the way from Australia to Namibia, to shoot the location George Miller wanted. Here's the example, one of the example of set extension from Elora, I believe, which they extended the set digitally, the green screen part. And you see also originality of decoration and, you know, practical, you know, decor and effect they have, also along with the VFX shot. So basically, and also mentioned that 28 makeup and prosthetic artists used, and they worked on this movie. Here's one of the big shots, iconic shot of the movie. For example, on one of these big shots, up to 150 stunt used. And some of the more normal shots with less crowd, there was 65 stunt people performing. Sometimes 100 vehicles of these muscle cars. And on this crowd, there's up to 30,000 digital crowd use, and 300 extra motion capture we have in these shots. Also, they created the gyro stabilized camera with 360 pivot head, so they can perform whatever George Miller wanted, you know. And it could go, the crane, 23 feet high from the four-wheel drive vehicle. So here I think this is the medium shot, more close-up of this part of the movie, which they use 16 of Houdini water layer, digital water, along these practicals on some of the shots. And also Elora created the photogrammetry digital, you know, assets using swinglet drone with capturing photos, and created digital version on the set extensions. Andrew Jackson was a VFX supervisor on this show, and he explains about these more in details. And he explains how they created 2000 VFX shot out of 2600 total shot of the movie, which is a huge amount. It's a VFX heavy movie. Although this was not supposed to be VFX movie as George Miller wanted. And also we feel that this is not a VFX movie. This is more practical and you feel it real. The VFX is hidden and very well crafted and mixed with the movie and composited with the movie in a very good way. Here we see how makeup artists create this prosthetic, like like real tattoos and skin burned they created. And also on this iconic Charlie Strong hand, Weta Workshop created the artwork for this one. And there was lots of rotoscoping removals, green screen removal from Elora on this shot, I believe. Very interesting also comments from Guy Norris, who is a stunt. He's explaining his feeling about how it feels to sit in the Ford Falcon from 1973, which Mel Gibson was there, and they used the same car all the way to the Ferry Road Mad Max, to this version of the movie. So there was very interesting muscle car and vehicles. For example, they had to Frankenstein an 18-wheel truck from Czech Republic named Tatra, which is 30 ton, and they used 4 of them to mix and match and created that war rig. Unfortunately, we don't have the picture from that shot, but you guys, if you guys are fan, you remember the famous war rig truck. Here we go. Also, there's nice shots here, which one of my favorite. But unfortunately, there's one of my other favorite shot is that 8-wheel doof wagon loaded with the speakers and the rocker playing there, which Immortan uses. We don't have a picture here, but you guys definitely remember what I'm talking about. Also, one of other interesting thing about this movie, unique things about this movie, is these polecats, you know, which extended from the ground. We don't have really picture there. We had the picture on the other page. And this one is a Warwick. We have a little picture from this close-up. And you see Tom Hardy, how they fasten with harness in a safe way. So it simulate that the car is moving fast and he's hanging there. So also there's lots of interesting detail and points, which we cannot mention all of these. But for example, the special effect department used scientifically very, flexible carbon steel material for those cat paws. Let me show you on this one. These cat paws, these long cat paws. I don't know if you can see it here. No, unfortunately not. But yeah, those are very, they did from science to art to everything to create this movie. Here, I was looking for this picture. So these are the cat paws with the carbon fiber. They specially created for this, which was very unique to me. Here's explains how George Miller wanted a chain effect that tanker explodes. So basically pyrotechnic planning needed for this and very careful planning from the special effect department. And as we are going to get to the end, I'm going to talk a little bit about how Elora VFX Supervisor explains that they used 40 compositor to make a toxic storm, which we saw earlier on the other pages. The huge storm concept they created in Elora. And George Miller explains that movie making is an organic process, it's not shot based. So basically we shouldn't see only even beautiful shots edited together. It's organic. All departments should work with love and passion. Here we are at the end. Thank you guys for watching. Now soon we will review another session. Thank you.